Hey everybody, I'd like to go through a instructional video on how to install the Cisco 8KV to EVE-NG. I've already got an instance of it, but I want to add a second version. So if we go to Cisco Catalyst 8000V, you can see I already have a version running here, but I'm going to go through the process of how to actually do that, but I'm going to use a different version. At the time of recording this video, Cisco has two gold star versions that they're kind of pointing people to, 17.12.4 and 17.9.5. So 17.12.4 is the one that you just saw that I already have installed, right? So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try to go through the process of basically installing the other version. So if you come over to Eve's website, they have the instructions. So what you want to do is just Google, Eve Cisco Catalyst 8000V or whatever it is you're trying to install. They have a whole list of devices, and then they have the instructions on what to do or how to follow these instructions to get that device to be able to install to your topologies. So we're going to SSH to Eve. You're going to log in as root. So I've done that, right? So if you're not familiar with Linux commands, you'll kind of figure it out. They give you a couple of tidbits on what to do. But what they tell you to do is they make a directory. So it says create an image directory on your Eve server. So they use the muctor or the make directory command, and they just essentially make a directory for the version of the device they're trying to play with. So in our case, we'll go ahead and CD into when you first SSH in, it kind of dumps you in like almost like a home directory, if you will. So what you want to do is I'm going to CD into OPT, and if you hit LS, it'll list the contents of that directory. So I'm going to CD into UNetLab from there. If you LS again, I'm going to CD into add-ons. If you LS one more time, these are the three main directories that you'll be kind of playing with in your Eve labbing. So in this case, I'm going to go to Kimu, and this is where the images of the devices I've been playing with are. You can see C8000V. This is that 17.12.4 version. Okay, so we're going to create a new directory for the version for 17.9.5. So you can either do what they recommend is the make directory command. That'll work, or you can even use the WinSCP. You have to open this anyway to transfer the file. So if you're more of a Windows person, you can just right click and say new directory, and you can give it the name C8000V universal K9.17.09.05F. Okay, and then go into there and essentially just copy the ISO file from your Windows box onto the EVE-NG server. So this is going to take a few minutes. If we go back to the Eve site, so we're basically doing step 2 now. Once that image is uploaded and done, they want you to create a hard drive using this command, all right, which I've documented in our notepad. So we're going to run this command after that image is done. That'll create a QCal2 file in that directory, okay, which we'll see. And then once the QCal2 file is in the directory, you actually boot from the hard drive inside of your SSH session. The one thing that I will point out, so when you get to step 4, it makes mention of this is a very long CLI command with the slider, which are not visible using Edge or Chrome. Well, I am in Chrome, and if you scroll over, you can see that it just essentially doesn't show you the rest of the command. So they tell you to use Firefox. So if you open this same link in Firefox, okay, and you use the slider, you can see that the whole command appears. So what you want to do is select that, copy it, and put that in your notepad, which is what I did. But just to point this out, so the top one is the one I just copied from their example. You can see that the version that it references may not be the same one that you're playing with, and in this case that's true. We want 17.9.5, not 17.602. So all you're going to do is just modify this piece of the command with the version you want to play with. So I've already done that here. So as far as this command goes, we're just going to get rid of it. Alright, so looks like we're about, 75% done, so it should just be another minute here. I had to also use PuTTY. So when I was using Secure CRT, they make mention of further couple steps down here. Once the thing boots inside of EVE-NG, you have to press Control A, release Control A, and then press C, and it'll present you with the prompt where you type quit. My Secure CRT, my key mappings and stuff are a little bit different, so it doesn't. The Control A basically just highlights everything so that I can, like if I'm working with TAC or something, I gotta like copy everything out of my session. I can provide that feedback to them if I'm working with, like a TAC engineer or something. So just be aware of that. You might waste your time up until step 7. So just make sure that your Control A does what this thinks it's going to do. Okay, so it looks like the image transferred, so that's good. So we're all set there. So let's go back up. It says create the new hard drive, right? So let's go back to our notepad, and we're going to copy that. And we are going to, first things first, let's go into that directory. So CD into that directory. All right. Because you want to make sure that you're creating the hard drive in the directory you want it to be created in, right? So let's copy that one more time. Let's blast it into our session. We can see that it formatted a QCOW2 file, right, based on the parameters. And if we type ls, we can now see that there is in fact a hard drive file there. And I believe the next step was to boot, right? Yep, so we create it. So this is where the long command comes into play. So let's copy that with the modified version, right? And let's go ahead and paste that in. This step's important. It makes mention of selecting option 2, which is the serial console. So we're going to go ahead and select option 2. And that's, you got to be pretty quick to recognize that. So once the screen prompt appears, hit any key and choose second option. Okay, so that's what we did. So now it says important, wait till the 8000V installs and prompt as below. AppWars, I think they mean appears. So typo on the site. Okay, so we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on it. The last time I did this, I don't recall seeing exactly what they present here in the screenshot. I actually remember the Cisco, banner, if you will, popping up and just essentially dumping me into a command line, but we'll see. Actually, no, it looks like it's doing it here. Okay, good. That was it. Perfect. Okay, so that's a lot better. So let's press Control A and then C. It dumped, and then we're typing quit. Okay, perfect. Okay, that actually worked exactly the way they described this time. That's actually good. Awesome. So, what's it say now? Remove the ISO from the image directory. Okay, fine. So we should be able to, let's go ahead and remove the ISO. So we'll delete. Okay, awesome. So there's our hard drive file. The ISO is no longer there. And now it says fix the permissions. So let's grab this command. That should take about 60 seconds or so, and it should fix the permissions and dump us back into a prompt. In which case, it says the image is created and ready to use. Now you can open your lab and your image will be visible under the C8000V. So let's just wait for these permissions to fix and we'll go back. Okay, good. So now we'll go back to our Eve instance. Let me just refresh. Okay, let's add an object. Let's add a node. We'll select 8000V. And if we hit the drop down, we should see 2 versions. So obviously this is the one that we've just installed. So I'm going to hit save. Okay, it dumped a new C8K in. We're going to start it. I'll refresh one more time so we can see the name. So there we go, C8K. Okay, good. So let's just fire him up in Secure CRT. These don't take terribly long to boot, but if there's a lot of dead air, and I'll just fast forward the video or just kind of cut to when it presents me with the prompt, but generally speaking they're not too bad to boot, but we'll see what we get. Okay, so that's good. That was only, I don't know, maybe 90 seconds or so. It's looking good. We got the processor information. We got our interfaces. Should be any second now. Cool. So prompt us with a initial configuration. We'll say no. So this is that enable secret bit. We'll just put in some bogus password. And then what I normally do is I just press 0 here. Okay, cool. So it dumps us right into the iOS. So if we type show ver, we should see 17.9.5, which we do. So that's awesome. So that's what we're after. You can see it's not terribly bad to get a C8000V into EVE-NG. You just got to follow the prompts on the site. So hopefully this video suits you well. Hopefully you get something out of it. And I appreciate you guys watching. I'll try to just continue to make some of these little tips and tricks videos for Eve. So thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one.